All right, got my travel humidor here. Those things are so cool. Love them. Take them to the beach, take them anywhere. Got my hat and my shelter here next to my fire, which is roaring. Hopefully you guys can see that. But yeah, I think we're live. Figured I'd do just a quick live stream out here. I actually shot some content today, but nobody's gonna watch this because apparently the Super Bowl is today. So yeah, I don't know. But all right, just got my phone out there on a tripod. Tough to cut a cigar in the dark. All right, and let me grab my lighter here. All right, now this cigar is going to taste like burned firewood, probably for the first third of it, which is why you never want to bring your expensive premium cigars out into the woods, children. Number one, they can get wet, damaged, whatever. Not necessarily if you bring a travel humidor, but also if you're planning to light it like a man from the fire, then it will alter the flavor. But I just have a cheap $4 one here, so nothing to worry about. If you wanted a perfectly, I hope you could see me. I might grab a lantern later. But the perfect way to light a cigar with wood would be to get a piece of cedar, because cigars and cedar go together perfectly. Like I said, I can't really see the chat, so I might run over there if somebody says something, but I guess this is just kind of me rambling around the campfire for a little bit. Came out here earlier today, like 2 p.m., cut some firewood, that kind of thing, built this shelter. And it's only supposed to get down to like 30, 40 tonight, depending on the wind. So, yeah, doesn't need to be a perfect shelter. I don't know, I figured I'd go live. If you have questions, type them in the chat, anything. But, yeah, I was also thinking about, like, why victims are so prevalent in today's society. And you hear this again and again, there are too many victims, everybody's a victim, everybody's on welfare, everybody, oh, this happened to me, and they don't take accountability. And I'm not saying people on welfare are bad. I think it's a bad thing to do, and most people don't need welfare. But, yeah, there's probably 0.5% that does, needs it to get by. But honestly, I mean, it's so easy in America to get a job, to save money. All you have to do is work. All you have to do, if you want any kind of success, is just get a regular job. Even minimum wage. You can survive on minimum wage, actually. You shouldn't, because it's so easy to get a job that isn't minimum wage. But if you had to, you could. Work a lot of hours. I don't get it. You know, people say, oh, nobody can survive on minimum wage. Are you kidding me? Just work, 100 hours a week. And I sound like a jerk saying that, but it's true. It's a fact. And I work a bunch of hours a week. I have for the past 2 years. I think working is good, but, and then, you save up some money, don't smoke, okay? When you're first starting out. So many people just waste their money. I mean, it's like, people live paycheck to paycheck, but then, there are people that live paycheck to paycheck on $40,000 a year and people that live paycheck to paycheck on minimum wage. So how do they do that? They have expenses. They waste it, basically. Somebody on 60 grand a year might have a jet ski payment, whereas somebody on minimum wage would have like I don't know, they would smoke, like I said, smoke cigarettes. That's the best way to waste your money and your life. So don't smoke, kids, as I smoke a cigar. But these are totally not the same thing. They don't cause lung cancer. There's a slight increase of mouth and throat cancer. Those are not generally serious. Way less fatality rate than lung cancer. Lung cancer is one of the worst cancers you can get. It's up there, not up there with pancreatic cancer, but those are both two bad things as opposed to skin cancer or prostate cancer. You just get it cut out, But yeah, no, these, I think you have a 2% likelihood of increased risk for a bunch of cancers and stuff if you smoke 1 to 2 cigars per day. And that study includes people that smoke Swisher Sweets and all those machine-made cigars that aren't technically real cigars, but they're basically cigarettes that look like cigars. So yeah, very low risk on these. And the pleasure you get far outweighs the risk. Dennis Prager talks about that a lot. And yeah, hopefully this isn't too boring. I'm just kind of rambling. I hope you can see me. But yeah, no. And getting back to the victim thing. You know what? You want to know one group of people that profits off of victims is lawyers. They would not survive if there were no victims. The law industry is a huge industry in this country, and I'm not saying it shouldn't, I think a lot of the founding fathers were lawyers, or a handful of them. That was pretty common back in the day for someone that could read to be a lawyer. I don't know the details. I should read into that. But there were nowhere near as many lawyers as there are today. And like I said, a lot of the time in America, we have this idea that we have so many lawsuits, divorce, a discrepancy over a will, inheritance, whatever, somebody falling down in Walmart. I saw so they sue the store. That is not healthy. Oh, I fell down. Better sue the store for $7 million. What have we come to? Where that is the first option. As opposed to, oh, I fell down in Walmart, better get up, and I better get up before anybody sees me so I can maintain my dignity, instead of spreading it all over the courtroom and forcing somebody to give me $7 million. Jeez, I don't know. But the problem with victims is you don't take responsibility for your actions. And like I said, lawyers incentivize this. Oh, you should be a victim so you can get money, And Donald Trump in his book says it pretty good. If you're right, you have to pursue it. Okay, if somebody shorts you in business, you have to pursue it. For example, I lost $16,000 to a guy that has not done the work I asked him to back in August when I paid him. It's a web development thing. I'm not thing. I'm not going to go into detail on it. But, yeah, man. I'm probably going to pursue that legally. I've had a bunch of things happen recently, otherwise I would have been on it, you know. But he keeps emailing me too. So if you're watching this, you know who you are. Get my damn work done. It's what I paid you for. Or return the money. But anyway, like I said, I'm not a victim. I should have known that, you know, maybe 10% up front, maybe $1,600 up front, and then he gets the rest after. That's the incentive. But I was so done. I don't want to make excuses, but I was so done because I had another developer that kept pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off, and finally got hired by Google. Didn't tell me, and then was like, "Yeah, I can't complete this project." So I was like, "All right, you know, I was working on a project. I wanted to get it up, rolling. I wanted to get revenue coming in, and I still haven't. So if you're right, you have to pursue it, but also just because you slip in a puddle in a store, that's not the store's fault, that's your fault. People should have common sense. People should take initiative. Heard something crashing around here. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I didn't bring any food out here for the night. I brought a lever action 22 rifle, so I was assuming that you know, I'd see a rabbit or a squirrel or something because it's so warm, but that is not the case. That's another thing I like. You know, living hand to mouth. That's why I like sales so much, the profession. If you don't make a cold call, or a bunch of cold calls, even if you do, you might not get money, but if you don't make a sale, you don't get a commission. And it's similar to hunting in that respect. If you don't find an animal and kill it, your family is going to starve to death. Now, obviously, that's not the way it is today, but in the 1840s, that was the way it was, and for almost all of human history. I mean, I guess we did kind of transfer to a agrarian society, but still, hunting was 90% of it, and even farming. You know, if you don't get up at 5 a.m. and go to bed at, you know, 11 p.m. and work out in the hard sun all day, every day to get the crops in, till the soil, you're not going to have any food in the winter. Yeah, so anyway, I can't tell if anybody's even watching this, but figured I'd go live out here, just kind of rambling here. Kind of a campfire chat thing. Oh, but yeah, no food, so I don't know. I should have brought food, but I kind of like that. You know, you don't kill something you don't eat. You know, it's a very macho thing to do. But yeah, I shot some footage. This will be up on YouTube. The whole camping trip. Started this fire with flint and steel. Back of my knife actually, and a piece of flint. Not a ferrocerium rod, actual flint. I sparked it onto char cloth, and it looks like nobody's watching. So, future people, enjoy this. Like I said, apparently the Super Bowl is going on. I was never into football. I don't understand how people get excited for a team. You know, like, it's one thing if you go to Michigan State and you cheer for Michigan State at the football games, you know, you're kind of part of that, but still, you're not doing anything. I mean, at that point, you're going out to support them, but watching it on your television at home, I just don't get that. I mean, you're not doing anything. Why are you getting all fired up when you... People are going to demolish me when they see this in the comments because I'm anti-American because I don't like football. But I've never watched an entire football game in my life. And yeah, if that makes me un-American, then hola, senor. But Mexico does it too with soccer, so football. Anyway, man, this is a beautiful cigar, nice and creamy. Yeah, I just made a lean-to here. Not super durable, because honestly I don't need it. Just staying out here one night. Cutting firewood too. You know, if you don't cut a tree down, your fire's gonna die. So, you know, that's the way it was for all of human history, basically. You don't do this, you're going to die. And now it's like we have a safety net. And that is basically an incentive not to work, you know? Like I said, there's probably a few people out there that need government assistance, but it's not natural, you know? And if you were, you know, falling down of polio or whatever, the church was there to help for a lot of human history. Not the government, but the church did it. And I know the churches had, you know, whatever church you're talking about. Generally Christian churches, I guess. But, you know, the charity is a tenet of Christianity, and I'm sure it is with Islam too, or whatever. Hinduism, I don't know. I'm speaking on a subject that I don't know a ton about, but I do know about Christianity, and you're supposed to be charitable. Help thy neighbor, love thy neighbor. You know, and if you needed help, absolutely needed help, the church would help you, you know? Go to the church if you are homeless, but a lot of places didn't have a church, especially in the American West in the pretty much the entire 18th century, or 19th century, excuse me. It's always tough how they do that. You know, and I sound like an idiot for saying that. Oh yeah, the 18th century means the 1700s. You know what I mean. The 1800s, 19th century. But yeah, on the frontier, most places didn't have a church, and a lot of places didn't have a neighbor, you know, for 10 miles. So you have to take responsibility at that point. You know, if you're out in the woods and you break your arm, you know, today, if you break your arm, oh, I can't work, the government should pay me unemployment. Or, if I'm smart, I would have long-term disability insurance, or government would pay me disability, not unemployment. Or if I'm smart, I have long-term disability insurance that kicks in after 6 months, but I do also have 6 months of expenses saved. People don't do that. People don't live like that. People live paycheck to paycheck. And then they somehow rationalize it, you know, when I broke my arm, which is fairly common in America, or whatever, I got in an accident, you know, somebody else should take care of me, and it's not my fault. I broke my arm. If you break your arm in the woods, you better figure out a way to make a splint, you know, and maybe it's not your fault that you fell down a hill during an avalanche, you know? Maybe it's not your fault that you got kicked in the arm by a donkey that you had. It doesn't matter. You're gonna die if you don't take responsibility and fix it. Fix your problem yourself. So, yeah. It's not like that today. Everybody's pushing their problems to somebody else. And I think that's unhealthy for a society, you know. Of course, if you get hit by a car, it's not your fault. But maybe you shouldn't have been crossing the street, you know? You know, of course it's not your fault if you get rear-ended by a drunk driver or whatever. But maybe you shouldn't have been out on the road at that point. Maybe you left late, you know? And you have to take responsibility for everything. If you make it a habit it becomes far easier to succeed. And I have, I don't know if that was recorded, I had a low power notification, 20%. So this won't go on for much longer, but yeah, no, you just have to take responsibility for stuff. And if you make it a habit, you're going to be far more successful as compared to saying, this isn't my fault, I can't control this. My philosophy is that I control everything. Now, of course I don't, but if I believe I do, then I work 10 times harder when something happens, like I break my arm or something, or even my business fails. I don't blame it on the economy, that's foolish. Even if the economy tanked, even if, let's say, automation replaced my website, AI did or something. Heard some rustling. That was my fault for not seeing the rise of AI technology and not preparing myself or transitioning to a different industry. Heard some rustling. Not a person though. Generally, if you're camping, bears are way quieter than like a squirrel or a chipmunk. Generally, the smaller the animal, the more noise it makes. And I don't know if that's by design or evolution or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, like a bear would be, you know, if a bear was sneaking up on me, I would probably not hear it. I don't know why that is. They're just stealthy, I guess. It would make some noise, but it would probably make less noise than a squirrel, apparently. And I read that somewhere, you know, and generally I've found it to be true. You know, deer don't make that much noise in the woods. They sound like a person walking, but it's a lot slower. Now a squirrel in autumn would rustle the leaves like crazy. They would, you know, you can hear their little claws going up a tree. And so if you're out camping alone in the woods at night, I would say don't let the noises bother you unless you can. And people are super loud. People don't know how to walk quietly through the woods. You know, they just, oh, a branch, might as well step on it so it cracks and alerts everything in a 200-yard radius of my current position, rather than stepping over it. But yeah, no, I've slept outside so many times that it doesn't, none of the noises bother me unless it's, you know, deliberate, or not deliberate, obvious people noises, footsteps or whatever. Yeah, but I don't know, I have a gun too, so it's not like I'm scared out here. It's just, you know, it wears off. You've done it so many times. But, yeah. Man, what a night. It was a beautiful day. Got up to 46, I think. Yeah. And then tonight it's supposed to be warm. I'm just out here hanging out. Yeah, and it's super warm. I'm not cold at all. I don't have a coat on. I have some wool pants. Got these for like 20 bucks. I think they were old ski pants or something, but they're 100% wool, or a large percentage wool. I don't know the exacts, but they're definitely wool. I'll tell you that. Man, I wish I had some questions, but I guess I shouldn't broadcast the same time as the Super Bowl, because, you know, people are going to be watching that and not this. But just sent a video to a channel on YouTube here. His name is Your Driver. That's his YouTube channel. He used to be an Uber driver. I think he still drives part-time. Go ahead and check his channel out. I sent him a question because he was asking for some. But yeah, do him a favor, go check it out. If you want to see me, he should be uploading it tomorrow or the next day. I'm not really sure on that. But and if you have a question for him, you know, kind of a fun thing to do, you know, shoot a video, send it in, help him out. But guy does vaporizer, or I guess e-cigarette reviews. So that's, you know, interesting. If you're into that, I would say he is one of the authorities on that, if you have a question about that. Also, Uber. Got a chat running towards the screen. Tribe of Benjamin, good to see you, man. It's been a while, I know. Thanks for the chat. Yeah, that guy just... Another squirrel. Dude is a authority on brain tanning, I believe. Great channel, The Tribe of Benjamin. Check him out on YouTube. Great guy. Oh, just kicking back out here. My phone's gonna die pretty soon, so I'm not gonna go on forever. But I don't know, we get a solid 20 minutes in, maybe? I'm not sure. But yeah, wish I would have shot something today. But I'm taking responsibility for not shooting it. My setup here, I just have a wool blanket because it's warm, and another wool blanket that I sewed in half. I sewed almost all the ends shut except for like a 6-inch hole, and it's basically a mattress that I stuffed with ticking, what they used to call it, basically grass. I forget the name of the plant though. This was 2 years ago I did this, and I've just kept it in my attic. I made sure there were no mice in it first. But the substance I used to stuff the mattress thing is, it's an insecticide. It repels ticks. I don't know if it's the smell or if it kills them, but that's useful in the summer. I'm not sure if the dead grass material does it. Wish I could remember the name of that, but I can't. But yeah, that's what I'm sleeping on. Got a tarp shelter up here, canvas, and then a reusable space blanket on the ground. It's like a tarp with the Mylar stuff on one side, so that reflects the heat up. And then I have a long fire going down here. So it should be pretty toasty tonight. And I shot the footage, of course, just reiterating. I will make a video on this probably tomorrow. But yeah, just hanging out. Forgot how much fun this is, you know? And somebody that, you know, is listening to this would think that I'm just like talking to a tree or something, and think that I'm like a psycho, so they would stay away. I just thought of that. If like a neighbor was walking through the woods and they heard me just talking and it was only my voice, they would think that I'm like nuts, psychotic out here, talking to a tree in the woods. Oh man. When the phone goes to 10%, I'm probably going to get more firewood. Yeah. I've got a, like I said, a kerosene lantern I'd like to bring out here. I should have brought that out here, but I didn't expect to be streaming. But anyway, yeah, just hanging around a campfire here. God, this is Mind numbing. Normally I have talking points or something, you know, to go down, but not mind numbing. It's I think it's good for my my brain, you know, to try and come up with stuff on the spot here. I am wearing, yeah, like I said, no coat, just a flannel shirt, a fleece vest, and just a t-shirt underneath that's synthetic material. You try not to sweat up. The entire screen right now is probably just dark because I had this fire built up, but then it burned down. And if I had some smaller stuff, I'd put it on. Let's see. Because that's a great way to get flames. Take smaller stuff here. There we go. Getting a little more light out of this fire. There we go. The only problem is that it doesn't burn for very long, and so you kind of have to keep a constant supply of it. So not ideal light conditions. It's funny. But anyway, just glad I could get a stream in here. Kind of cool. I like having unlimited data. There we go. I can hang out in the woods and talk to trees on camera. So yeah, just making a little more light here. It's kind of weird doing this because I haven't done it in so long. Camping, I mean. Oh, but I don't know, I got nostalgic. I started watching some videos last night of a friend I have in Michigan. Oh. And got nostalgic because I used to go camping with those guys all the time. And now one's in the Navy, one is like 3 hours away from me. And he works a lot, and yeah, everybody works a lot. Everybody's busy. And then the other has, I think, 2 kids. I think it's 2. But yeah, you know, 8 years ago we would have been camping, and I miss that. It is still kind of startling to hear a noise in a dark forest at night, you know. Even for someone that's, well, like me, you know, I'm not, like, I have a firearm. I'm entirely confident that there are no monsters in the dark. But you hear something, and then, you know, you still have to look. Even though I just said I'm extremely confident and macho. Just got 10% there. Should make a torch or something. But yeah, when this cuts out, I'll walk back to the barn that's on this property. There we go, that's a little better lighting. And I'll have to charge that phone just in case somebody needs to reach me. And I'll also charge the camera I have. But yeah, whoa. Just trying to build up a fire that's gonna last for a while. If I'm gone for, you know, an hour even. But yeah, I have no qualms about leaving this. Such a strange word. I'll throw another couple logs on it, and everything's wet, so there's no chance of, a forest fire. But and it'll still be going when I come back. So yeah. No hunting at night too. If I was a mountain man, I would take my gun. I'll take the gun, but it's going to stay in its case. Because you can't hunt at night legally. Unless it's raccoons, I think. And even then you have to get a special permit. I've never hunted raccoons at night. I've shot animals in the dark, but that's because they were in a foothold trap. And I had to put them down before school back in high school. What the hell is that? Sounds like a squirrel got its tail caught in a blender. I don't know. There's a farm about, I don't know, maybe a half mile that way. So it could be livestock, I guess. Oh. It's just something about being out in the woods. Even though I do have my phone going, it's not like I'm numbing my mind with Instagram or whatever. It's good to disconnect, from your phone for a while. Because I looked at my iPhone analytics the other day, and I was using it like 14 hours a day, and that's not healthy. I think most of it, I listen to probably half an audiobook every day, and that's like 5 hours or whatever, depending on the book, 3 hours, whatever. But yeah, and when I'm driving or whatever, I listen to YouTube videos or whatever, audiobooks. So I'm sure that's part of it, but still, I do catch myself a lot looking at my phone too much, or Instagram or whatever. Something that's not going to better me in any way, Not reading, I'm not sending emails, I'm not prospecting, so, it's difficult. I've heard it's harder than quitting drugs to actually go without your cell phone for a week. Harder to do that than to go without drugs for a week. And I've never done drugs, but geez, I mean, are we really that addicted to our phones to where we can't even go a week without them without, screaming our heads off? Okay, that's definitely a squirrel. I wish I could shoot you. Try to project my voice. I'm not wearing a mic this time, but hopefully you can hear me. Yeah. Hope you can see me too. I don't know, I just figured I'd do this real quick. Sitting around, I don't have anybody else to talk to, and there it is again. I don't know. Reminds me of something funny. I don't know where I saw this, but somebody said that if you watch a squirrel long enough, you will see it either rape or be raped. And it's true. You seen those things mate? The dude chases the other one around, and like she's throwing nuts at it and stuff, trying to get it to stop or whatever. Oh man, if you've never watched a squirrel mate, I would I mean, not like in a weird way, of course. Jesus. Oh. You know what I mean. It is quite the spectacle. God. Chris Schweeman, squirrel voyeur. Oh, man. Oh. Kind of cloudy here. Wish I could see the stars, or maybe it's just not dark enough yet. I don't know what time it is. But I think I'm going to end this on that note. before I say anything else that is going to ruin my ability to get a career in the next 20 years. So, without further ado, I bid you good night. If you're probably watching this 2 weeks from now, because I can't see the number of people that are watching. I know Ben stopped by. I don't know if he's still there. No, it is just me. All right, so I'm gonna end this here. I hope you guys have a good night. Hope the Super Bowl goes well for somebody. I don't even know who's playing. Yeah, I think it's the Patriots, because Peyton Manning, that dude, Tom Brady, geez, I read his book. Tom Brady is in the Patriots, and he's been in the news recently for something, I think. Like I said, I don't know about football, but, you know, hopefully if the Patriots are your team, you win, and hopefully if your team is the other team that's playing, hopefully they win. I don't know. Enjoy it either way, and let me know what the best commercial was. Have a good night. Take it easy.